Hello. In this bite-sized grammar review, we're going to talk about irregular verbs. Unregelmäßige Verben im Präsens. That's present tense. So for this grammar topic, there really isn't a way to tell in advance or to construct the form that you need because these are, as I said, irregular. And irregular just means that you won't be able to calculate what they are by some formula. Instead, you have to just know them. So I'm going to go over some really common verbs that you might learn early on in your studies. These are all irregular, which means that in the present tense, they will have some kind of vowel change in the do form, so that's second person singular, and also third person singular, so er, sie, es. Those two forms are the two that you need to watch out for because the rest of them will be conjugated as though they are regular most of the time, and we've got one exception I'll talk about here. But for the rest of these irregular verbs, if you're just talking about present tense, these are going to have changes to the vowel and sometimes the rest of the stem in those two forms, second person singular and third person singular. So let's take essen as an example. To eat in the ich form, the first person singular, looks totally normal. Ich esse. That's what you would expect, but not so for the du and er, sie, es form. It would be du isst, er isst. So those two, you can't guess. It's a change from an E to an I. And if you want to memorize like verb classes that used to exist in German and try to calculate it that way, you can, but it's much more work than just memorizing it for individual verbs. And those verb classes, while they used to form groups that made sense, they just don't really anymore. They're not very relevant. So I don't teach them to my students. Okay, next one we have is fahren. Ich fahre, du fährst, und er fährt. So we get an umlaut there. You get an umlaut with laufen as well. Ich laufe, du läufst, er läuft. Tragen, again, same umlaut. Ich trage, du trägst, er trägt. Geben, ich gebe, du gibst, er, sie, es gibt. Nehmen, this one is a little bit more irregular than the others because it has not just the vowel change, but some of the other letters too, the consonants. So, ich nehme, du nimmst, with double M instead of HM, and er nimmt. Lesen, just the vowel again, so ich lese, du liest, er liest. Schlafen, ich schlafe, du schläfst, er schläft. So this is the same A getting an umlaut. Sprechen, ich spreche, du sprichst, und er spricht. Now, there are exceptions to this watch out for only second and third person singular thing, and one of them is wissen. So wissen is one, sein is one. Those are the two main verbs that you'll be using a lot that have more irregular forms than just those two. So wissen, but it's not ich wisse. Oh, that sounds terrible. Ich weiß, and you probably learned this early on, right? Oh, ich weiß nicht. You should know how to say that. If you don't know how to say that you don't know, learn it now. Ich weiß nicht. It's a good thing to be able to say. And then for du weißt with a T, and er, sie, es, er weiß. So that's a rundown of a handful of verbs you might know. And if you don't know what any of these means, go look them up.